Hey everybody, this is Spectral Sailor. I'm the host Rosie, and this is the first time we've had 0 viewers when we started out. They're usually already there before the intro's even done. It's like a bunch of them, but I just shared it to several groups, so maybe they'll jump on here if they have a YouTube account. Because of the issues with Facebook today, I had prior set up this broadcast to be going to YouTube, but I didn't get on there in time for it to go onto Paranormal United Network or Spectral Sailor or any other pages on Facebook because you have to do it 10 minutes ahead of time. So, everybody, there's my disclaimer. Here's Jason with me also, and Brett. And welcome, Brett.
Hi, nice to be here.
Hi, I'm glad you're
I'm
here.
excited. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, and your house didn't blow away or your electric didn't get zapped out.
I'm in Southern California and we don't get thunder and lightning very often, but apparently when we do, it like knocks out electricity and we have like it was like science fiction, War of the Worlds kind of explosions here. It was like everything reverberated and dogs are freaking out and everything, but and I've been in lightning and thunder before, in my travels and stuff. But
Mhm.
man, this was nuts. It was seriously War of the Worlds. That whole like
The scene that's out of the movie or whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that movie.
hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not the part after the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody taking over right now. That would not be a good time. But I guess
No.
I would actually think it wasn't a surprise with Facebook and everything going down, but I would think that everything would go down completely, like they would zap it out.
Yeah. Picking and choosing.
Yeah. Jason, did you want to say anything about the War of the Worlds?
I was just going to say that I didn't see any explanations what happened with Facebook and all that today. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what happened.
I know why, but I don't think they actually legit put out a reason why, but I'm pretty sure, like, I know why. Just from seeing everything, all of the other coverage and everything about it, it's pretty self explanatory, I think. So, hey, viewer, we have a viewer. Welcome. We usually are broadcasting on 3 different platforms, and we're only on one tonight, which I guess it's not a bad idea to do this, but it can help grow my YouTube that's not very big. It's just like one avenue, probably the smallest one that I use to stream or whatever. But I had some questions I wanted to ask you, Brett, since you do medium work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how long have you been doing medium work, and what kinds of stuff do you do?
Well, I've been a psychic medium since I was a kid. I didn't really know what was happening. It was just we had ghosts and I had spirits coming to me and I would see weird things and all this as a kid, and I didn't really realize what it was until being an adult, and I kind of let all that stuff go in the background. I got into paranormal investigating back when like ghost hunters came out. It was kind of like, oh, they're legitimizing what I've been doing. And so I started doing that, and I would work with different paranormal groups, and they would have psychics or mediums come in. And, one of the things that would happen is I would hang out with the medium and I'd talk to them, and whatever they would do, I was able to do. I'd just be like, oh, well, okay, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you sensing? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's the little kid, right? It's Roger. It's Roger. Roger's right there. He's coming over. And, and so it was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, this stuff's happening. And so I started getting more into it, and I would do energy work and stuff like that. And then I guess the other side took notice, and I got like whammied probably about 2012. And my abilities just blew wide open, and so I've been kind of pursuing that since then. These days I do mediumship. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. Most of the stuff I think I'm focused on are cleansing and clearing and spirit rescue. So moving spirits out of places or moving attachments off of people. So that's kind of my main focus. So
Yeah, I like to do stuff like that a lot too. When we go to places, to help people if they feel, something that's actually bothersome to them, or it's weighing them down, or it's making their life changed in a negative way, to try to figure out how to get that out of their house or out of their dwelling or whatever, like I even have done like car cleansing and car cleansing videos, because sometimes I feel like even in your car stuff like that happens. It's weird.
Yeah, if there are no boundaries, I don't think really. I mean, spirits are going to follow you wherever. They'll end up wherever. So, yeah, I can see
So
that.
when, like you said in 2012 is when you basically kind of blossomed into like a, more of an open medium or whatever. Did like, when that happened, was it kind of like a beacon was on, like your beacon light was on, and all of these things just bombarded you, and people and spirits bombarded you?
Very nice way of putting it there. Yeah, it was absolutely a beacon. It was like I was the bonfire on the hill. Yeah, I had something happen. Where I was helping out with a case, and well, is that me feedback? I hope that's not my feedback, is it? Are you guys hearing any problems?
I don't hear anything.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I was helping out with a case. We had some like crazy stuff going on. There was a medium there, and she was like, "Oh, it's demonic." And it's like, okay, yeah, I've heard that enough. I kind of blow that off, because it's like, in my experience, there are a lot of humans, a lot of people out there that aren't emotionally well, or they're just jerks or whatever, right? So my whole idea of demons, it's like, okay, that's not happening. Well, lo and behold, I was surprised. It was a demonic thing. And so demons showed up. My mind was blown. And then basically I was under attack from demons, and angels showed up. And so again, my mind is blown. These things are real. This is something I didn't expect. I thought this was all allegory. What's happening here? And so yeah, I was wide open, and I'd go to Walmart, and it's like, oh, there's a spirit of a woman that used to work at Walmart, and this is where she was most comfortable. And it's like, whoa, like just crazy stuff for, I don't know, for probably a whole summer. I was a teacher, and so luckily this started towards the beginning of the summer, and so I had time to kind of get my feet on the ground, because it was intense. And this was already having this experience, already knowing kind of like having psychic experiences and ghosts and all of these kind of things. So it was pretty intense.
One of the audience people said there is feedback, so I'm just going to try this. I'm going to try because sometimes, I don't know, I think it doesn't have anything to do specifically with me or Jason, but sometimes when me and him's both on here, there's feedback. I don't know why, or when there's like so many people, sometimes in a certain situation, there's feedback. And if I mute, sometimes if I mute when someone else is talking, it takes the feedback away. So Jason, you want to ask him a couple questions, and I'm going to mute and see if there's any difference. And audience, can you tell me if there's any difference in the feedback? Or Brett, you heard it. Can you tell me if there's a difference?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Jason. Have at it.
So you're talking about like the demonic stuff, and I was just curious. I'm gonna go the other direction a little bit. So what was your experience with angels, and what was that like?
Well, I'm totally with the angels. Like those are my dudes. So yeah, so demons show up, and I have a guide that shows up and kind of tells me, okay, here's how to take care of it and stuff. And so I go into a meditation, and I try to take care of it. I try to get this sorted out. And this monster dude looks like oh man, Hellboy. This demonic thing that looks like Hellboy pops up, and then an angel shows up. And I mean, we're talking the angel with wings. I can't see super clearly sometimes. I think that's kind of how the mediumship stuff works. It's kind of like trying to see a memory or something. I think it lives in the same kind of space, or lives in the same space as your emotion. So it's kind of difficult to see, but you can get a pretty good. Okay, I'm seeing somebody talk about how to take care of feedback on my screen, and yeah, I don't have any speakers on. Okay, so yeah, angel shows up, white, wearing white. I think this is a female, got wings, big white beautiful wings, and it basically takes care of this demon. The demon just goes away, and then the angel's gone. And so this blows my mind. I start looking at the Bible. I'm not a big I'm pretty spiritual, but I'm not a big religion guy, organized religion. And so this kind of opens up my mind, and I start reading the Bible, looking at angel stuff, researching this. And yeah, it seems like there are two general groups of angels that I've come in contact with, and there are the ones that are dedicated to love and all of that, and they are like in the flowing white gowns. And then there are also the ones that are like armored up with swords and shields. And I mean, I'm not talking about dividing it up into different choirs or anything like that, because I know that I've heard them talk about what are the Cupid, what is that?
Oh, it's like there's a seraphim, there's the justices.
Yeah. The cherubs.
There's like 7 different, the cherubim. Yeah, there's all the different classifications. I think there's 7 of them, I believe. 7 different layers, basically, of like angelology.
Yeah, archangels are there. Yeah.
The principalities.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, I've heard them mention these different levels, and so it's something where it's like, yeah, I will go to these religious books and really research it. And so, I got into looking at the Bible and stuff, because I started to realize numbers would come up over and over again. And I was like, okay, what is this number? And so, we've got Google. So type the number in, and bam, scripture comes up. And so I look at the scripture, and it's like, wow, that's pretty right on with what's happening in my life right now. And so I started getting messages. This happened for quite a while. I'd get messages through numbers that would tie into biblical passages and stuff. So
I've had stuff like that happen, or weird words that were like not in a normal language, that were like, I would Aramaic or Latin or something like that, and that's what I thought they were. And then I went and looked up and wrote it down. And I've even like said that stuff too before. Like one time I went to church camp, and I don't even know how this happened, but my friend next to me was screaming and crying because she freaked out because I started speaking in tongue, and she was like, "Oh God, you're freaking me out!" And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing. I just feel happy. That's not bad."
Yeah.
But she was like crying because it freaked her out so badly that obviously, it wasn't like I knew it was going to happen. It just was like a switch came on, and I started to like pick up and start to study Latin language, because it sounded like Latin to me. And I would write down the things that I heard or that I said or that I saw. Even in dreams, I would see words and I would hear words and not have a clue what it was, but I'd write it down. And I'd be like, I can like translate this into English. And it would be like Jericho or something like that. And it was Jericho. So I went and started reading Jericho in the Bible. And then something about Joshua happened to me too. And I started reading Joshua in the Bible, and it was almost like there was a hidden metaphorical message in there that I needed to know about something happening, or something that was going to happen, or like, like something that was not seen with the naked eye.
Stuff
Yeah.
is all super intense when you're reading some sort of biblical
Yeah.
thing and you're like, does this relate to our world right now? Is this what part am I paying attention to in this scripture?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty freaky. So that sounds
Sorry.
pretty cool. The channeling, like it sounds like you were channeling other languages or other words,
Yeah, and it
basically.
was weird, and it's almost actually like I actually, yeah. Well, he said you started speaking Anunnaki. I looked up Anunnaki. It looks like that's what he's saying, but it's spelled different when I looked it up in Google, I think. But I kept hearing Anunnaki, 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 that word in my mind, and I was like, why am I hearing this word? I've heard it, I think, on like the Travel Channel or something when they were talking about some kind of civilization, but I didn't really watch that episode. I just heard them talking about it. And so I looked it up and I started reading about it, and I don't know, something about it really related to me, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but I think maybe I don't know. You probably believe in this. I don't know if you do or not, but if you believe in past lives, I think that I was probably like some kind of linguist or like a language translator or something. Because when I hear other languages, I almost automatically, most of the time, know where it came from. I don't know how, because I've never, been somewhere and learned another language in all of these different places, obviously.
Yeah.
But when I,
Interesting,
yeah,
interesting stuff there. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I pretty much believe everything is possible. Um, I'm not gonna put money on it necessarily, but I'll keep my mind open. You know, I'll just I don't know. Yeah, I'm distracted by the text on the screen.
Oh, Pamela said, since they don't know you, can you tell them about yourself? Like maybe like I don't know, something like
I'm a
your
Sagittarius, and I like walks
yeah,
on
I was gonna
the.
say personal, but not too
uh,
personal.
yeah,
Whatever you
I'm a
want to.
psychic medium. I focus on cleansing and clearing of people and places, and I kind of do a lot of spirit rescue stuff. I feel like all spirits. Well, I feel like I would like everybody to go to heaven. I had an experience where I got to kind of see into heaven, and um, my team won't let me see that anymore because, like, when I do see something like that, I lose it. I'm non-functional for a while, and so for me to be effective, they can't let me see anything like that anymore. But that getting to see that makes it so, like, I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to move up. And so, like, I do a YouTube channel called Haunted Medium, and it's where I am traveling around on my motorcycle and hitting different places. Pretty much everywhere I go, I try to tune in, and I'll run into spirits there or other kinds of entities. And one of the things I like to do, or my team does pretty much, is help spirits and folks move up and move up to heaven. And the whole heaven thing, I feel like that's my word for it. Other people can pick whatever word they want. I don't want to push any sort of beliefs on anybody. I think we're all pretty much operating on the same like foundation of beliefs anyway. If you look at all of the big religious books, and you like keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, um, it seems that it's all pretty much the same messages about love and treating other people how you would like to be treated. So I went all over the place.
She says she'll check out your YouTube.
Okay.
I said find Brett Haunted Medium on YouTube and Instagram. I hadn't actually checked out all of your other social platforms, but since you had said YouTube, I'm pretty sure I followed you on there after I found you on Instagram. But I usually creep around on Instagram to find people to interview because I don't want to interview the same people that everybody interviews all the time. I just want to find like people that stick out to me that are like different, I guess, unique or whatever.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, go subscribe. I need subscribers. I want to
Follow you
open
on
up.
YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and whatever
Yeah.
else you have. Do you have Facebook?
I no Facebook, so I wasn't bothered too much by today's shenanigans. But yeah, I've
Awesome.
got Twitter. Twitter, but mostly my focus is on YouTube. I'm really trying to get that going. And I really love doing it. Like I really pour a lot into each of these videos. So
that's important. I feel like connecting with people when you do this kind of stuff is really important, because if you don't, they might not trust you, and
yeah.
they're kind of like safety is in your hands in a way when you're doing stuff
Mhm.
like this. They're like, security and safety's in your hands. Hey, Adam. So I had a question, like, what is something, like, probably one of the most memorable or strangest things that you've worked on or been involved in as far as like medium work?
Oh man. You know what? A long time ago, I was taking a class. This was really fun. I was taking a class on mediumship. Like I'm forever a student. I was a teacher, and so I don't know if it just comes with that kind of thinking, but um, yeah, I took a class in some mediumship or something like that, and um, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm dealing with Hollywood and stuff like that, and so I I I I tune in and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm getting. And then class ends and we're supposed to report back the next day. I think this is like at the Queen Mary. So it's like even a cool
Oh
location.
wow, yeah.
And so that night, um, all night I've got like funk music going in my head and I'm trying to sleep and it's like these dudes dressed in their like 70s funk clothes. So I mean like the super flamboyant, massive sleeves, studded all over the
Colorful,
place. And
weird patterns.
yeah, it's like Cool in the Gang or Commodores or one of these groups. And the next day I go into the class or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we've got somebody on the phone that needs a reading. And yeah, it was one of the members of this band. And it's like some huge famous band. And I can't be specific with who it is, but it was really fun to have them come through and have me be like, yeah, it's this person. And yeah, he was talking about you know, you being over in this mall and people thought you were Rick James and all this stuff. It's like just so much fun. And
That pretty much covers like everybody from that era, so I don't think anybody will know who you're talking about now.
yeah,
Like everybody
it's
looked a
one
lot
of
alike,
those.
I feel like.
Yeah, it's one of those. So I just thought that was fun. There are like so many crazy things that are always happening. Just I mean, I don't know, everybody that's in the paranormal, you've had nuts stuff happen like weekly, at just certain times, and another funny thing was just going into my living room at night. I'm like, oh, there's a spirit in here, what's going on? And it's like, oh man, now I can't. I'm like losing it. I'm losing what this was. Oh yeah. I'm like,
That
who is
happens
it?
to me too.
Yeah. It's like, who is it? Who is this? Trying to ask who it is. And I get, it's Jake from State Farm. It's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
so spirits are around and they are watching what we're doing and involved in popular media and all that stuff. So yeah, just
Yeah.
weird, crazy stuff all the time.
Do you ever turn on the radio when you're driving down the road too and feel like you're hearing messages? Like if you're, how you're like not listening to one song, you're just kind of like, I don't want to hear that. And I want to
Yeah,
hear that. And then you're just like, oh, and you stop on one channel, you're like, for some reason, I want to hear that. And then you're like, wow, why does this sound like my day
absolutely.
today?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There's like hearing voices in like white noise. I think that happens, but I also think like hearing messages in songs or in things that like the other side is directing you to. I think that happens too. I think that's something to really pay attention to, because like if you get that notice, like I should be listening to the lyrics of this song, it's probably for a reason or it's probably from
Hmm.
somebody. So definitely do that. And I know that my team, my guides, a lot of times they will use movies and they'll use pop imagery and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so like I'll be getting Disney stuff for a long time. And it's like, okay, I can start to put this together.
I have Disney stuff too all the time.
Hey, must be convenient for them.
Like yesterday, I was just talking to somebody and telling them that I know everybody's talking about this, and I wasn't going to, make this episode about this, but I was really like, from the very beginning, like for a while now, I've been really strongly following and like trying to channel into the Gabby Petito case. And like even before they found her body and stuff. And like, I was talking to this friend about building a timeline because they hadn't been tracking anything that had been going on and they couldn't understand what I was talking about. And I was like trying to tell them this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's when that." And I'm like, "No, this was way after that." And they're like, "Oh, that's when." And I was like, "No, this is way after that." I was like, I got to make you a timeline. I got to make you a timeline. And so right after that, I looked up and I do beading work a lot and like make necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of stones and stuff. Like I looked up and I saw a charm I had bought and it said timeline really big on it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I guess I really do need to make a timeline. Maybe for myself, I'm being told to make a timeline because everybody, that's like basically the key to everything when you're doing any kind of, criminal or forensic work, you got to have a timeline. But I thought it was weird. I was like, how in the world? That's crazy. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to my friend. I was like, look at that. It says timeline. It's crazy.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And then the whole beading, doing beadwork and stuff like that. I think like knots and weaving and stuff like that really has it's got like a witchcraft spell work kind of component to
or
it.
Intentional work too, like your kind of like your energy's going into it. I feel like that too. When people buy something and they love it, I feel like it's because I put all that energy into it when I made it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love this so much," and I'm like, "Thank you," because I really spent like an hour of my energy going. Not like it expended me or made me tired, but I poured an hour of my love into it.
That's really cool.
Or, more than that. But I do enjoy it because also I have anxiety and doing stuff with my hands, doing card readings or beadwork or anything with my hands makes me feel less anxious. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, nice. I crochet, or
you?
I have. It's been a while. I've got the worst beanies, but I've made beanies. So.
Do they look like they have like a horn or something? Like
yeah, pretty much.
My mom's been doing those, and when she first started out, and I've seen some other people doing, which I'm kind of jealous. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know why. I think that my grandma had taught me when I was younger, and I picked it up, and now I feel like a retard when I look at it. I'm like, hold on, do that again, because I'm just not getting it. Do it again. But yeah, when you start out, my mom started out, they looked kind of funny, and they were like, she'd make my daughter come over and try them on, and they were like up to here, or like real tight. I was like, that's not a beanie. I don't know what that is, but
yeah, I understand that stuff. I understand the faulty beanies. So I saw somebody put that they were listening in between radio channels, so listening to the static. Yeah, radio Pamela. Between channels and listen. So that's Pamela. That's really pretty wild. Yeah. What do you think is going on there with the static? How do you think that's working?
There's a actually interesting like conversation I had. We had a convention, not this last weekend, but the weekend before that. And there was a really awesome person that makes equipment there. And we had a conversation about a piece of equipment that he has that is a hacked, like a spirit box or S box that goes below frequencies that anyone broadcasts on, so that you can actually use those frequencies to, I guess, invite communication from spirit on. And that if you're getting something below those frequencies, there's nobody broadcasting. I think it's below 80. He said that there shouldn't 60. Be any below 60.
Yeah.
I thought it was between 60 and 80.
I thought he was saying it was 60. I was like, wow.
I think it's between 60 and 80. I might be wrong, though.
I don't know. You could be right.
But like there was this gap there that if you tune into those channels and you use those channels and you receive words, communications, I don't know, I guess if you want it like alien, communication or spirit communication or whoever, Uncle Bob that passed away last year, like anybody on those certain frequencies, that it's more likely that that is like a legit communication from somebody, and it's not interference from any radio stations or signals being put out by a radio or broadcast system.
I appreciate that. Like, because there's so many of these systems, and it's kind of like there are too many false positive opportunities. Because
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, if you're listening to a radio that's going through, the SB7 or whatever, you're listening to a spirit box, and it's going through all of these stations. There are too many times when you're getting radio stations. That being said, like, they totally work. I've heard them absolutely work. No doubt about it. But it's like there are too many false positives, and they're so abrasive. It's just like, psh, 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 psh.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I can't use those.
So you ever drawn to a location? Like you just be driving by somewhere and like on a random road and be like, just have to like turn around and go in front of this property or something?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had to, well, I do the road trips where I'm riding around, and I kind of let the other side do a lot of directing. Like I'll see things on the map, and it's like, oh, that looks cool, and I'll go check that out. But I've actually had spirits kind of like, no, you got to turn around, you got to stop there, and I'll stop, and it's like, oh wow, this place is really amazing. Or I'll get somewhere and I'll do my filming or whatever, and I'll come home and go through the footage and start editing, and it's like spirits are talking about, yeah, we called you here. And so,
Oh wow!
I
Can you
think
hear
we're
it?
definitely pulled in. Yeah, part of the thing that I do is, I'm a medium, so I'll be talking about whatever it is. I'll talk about my impressions and things I'm getting. And then also I record audio, and I'll get EVPs, and the EVPs will a lot of times match what's going on with the impressions I'm getting. And so I don't know, that's really helpful and validating for me in places where I'm not going to get validation. Because, one thing is, I'm not going to go and research everywhere I go, because I'm just going to so many places. There's only so much time
Yeah.
to like research something and try to track down information and stuff. And so,
And some
most,
information's not easy to get. You have to dig quite a bit
oh, for
sometimes.
sure. And places have had, like, right now I'm editing footage from the Mackay Mansion in Virginia City. And it's like, some spirit was talking about a pool. Like, oh yeah, what's the coolest part? A pool. And it's like, they don't have a pool. And it's like, well, I can't find out. Like, I'm not going to know that information. I might be able to track down somebody who's old enough that remembers, oh yeah, back in the 40s, there was a pool over at this place, or, there's a place where people used to swim, or in the mines, whatever. And it's like, and then there are other things where it's like, oh, the death records were in a terrible fire, and so they've lost all that information. So yeah, you can't find a lot of that information. And so yeah, I just take it, I trust it, and I just go with it. Some of it is spirits not knowing what the deal is, like,
Yeah.
just wanting to chime in. Like, you think of kids wanting to have the right answer, or wanting to participate, and
Like,
so they just,
me,
so they'll
pick
say
me, it's
whatever,
my
right?
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I feel like that too sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta leave this house. There's too much going on in here, and it's making me go crazy.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what did I want to say? Oh, I wanted to talk about the like listening to the static in the radio. There's also something I think that happens with the EVPs. I think, or this might be direct um, direct voice mediumship, where the spirits will use sounds that are already there, kind of as a carrier wave, to like give them a voice. So it's like when you're around water, when you're around, I have fans on all the time. When you're around white noise, that kind of stuff, you're more likely to actually hear it because the vibrations I think it gives them something to kind of mold into a voice. So that's just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah. Do they ever come to you at like weird times? You're just sitting there like trying to take a shower and relax or whatever. Like, hey, listen to me.
They used to. I think I'm terrible with my boundaries. Like, so, when this stuff is first happening, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm freaking out and it's scary and all this stuff, but like, I welcome it. And so at 3:00 in the morning, when somebody comes to you and is trying to get your attention, you're like, okay, I'm asleep, but yeah, what?
Yeah, that happens
And
to me all the time.
so I think my team of guides, I think they're now kind of controlling my boundaries, and they're keeping folks from coming in and bothering me. So yeah. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe I've lost some of the need to, wake up at that time and receive a message like it, in the middle of the night. I've got a digital recorder and I've got a notepad next to my bed. And so, if there's the psychic dream, or there is some sort of message or something coming through, and this happens usually right as you're going to sleep or right as you're waking up, that hypnagogic state where you're more open to receiving information. Like, I'll jot down stuff if I can. Cause we will always do the thing where we're like, oh, I will totally remember this because this is so wild and it's so obvious. I will remember this. And then you have no idea. You just know that there was something important that happened last night and I didn't write it down because
it was so vivid and real, and I remembered every detail until lunchtime.
Yep.
And it all left. Yeah, that's why I tell people, like, some people ask about dreams, and I always tell everybody to keep a dream journal because that's the best way. Right when it's fresh off of your, when you wake up. What did you say? Hypnagogic?
Yeah, hypnagogic
Okay.
state. Yeah, it's that state in between being awake and asleep, and I think everybody has this. Like, everybody starts to receive some sort of information. This is where you'll see stuff and you'll hear stuff, and a lot of times, like, I will hear like full on out loud conversations or things going on, and I'm like, what are these people doing? And I look outside because I'm like, there are people outside my window yelling. Like, what is wrong with you people? And it's like, then I'll listen, and it's like, no, they're talking about, they're like, oh, he can hear me and all this stuff. And there's nobody. It's like, nobody's anywhere on the street. So yeah, gotta have that journal and that recorder.
Have you ever had an annoying spirit just like nag at you for like days and days and days, and you're finally like, okay, man, like, I've told you.
Not so much. I think if I'm doing my job right, I take care of them like right there in the instant, or my team of guides will take care of them. And so I don't really have anybody that's hanging around being annoying. I will get attachments from time to time, talking about those boundaries. I think part of it is part of what makes me accessible to some of the spirits who are really needy is I appear to be just a normal dude, right? So I'm going to have folks that are, they don't want to go in a church. They don't want to look for somebody that isn't like just a normal person. And so I can come off as a normal person, even if I'm like totally wacky. I'm a medium, I believe in all sorts of crazy stuff. Right. But I'm more approachable, I guess. And so they'll come to me, and my boundaries are a little bit less, I guess. So I deal with more, annoying isn't the right word, but pretty hostile I deal with some hostile things that come to me sometimes, but they're really pretty obvious and get moved away, get taken
And
care of pretty quickly, I guess. I don't know if I answered your question, if I just went.
yeah.
Okay.
I know what both of you are talking about. Like when I first started doing this stuff, and I didn't even know this was what was happening.
Yeah.
I had a cousin that was doing that to me, and I was just really agitated. And like I would wake up, and he used to call me Effer, like, "Hey, Effer." That's what he would call me on the phone. Be like, "Hey, Effer, what are you doing?" And I knew it was him. The first night, my covers just pulled off and went in the floor, and I was like, they
Oh.
probably just got heavy and they fell off, like they were heavy. And I was like, and I was like, "Hey, did you do that?" And Andrew's like, "No, I didn't do that." And I'm like, "Okay, obviously y'all are asleep. I don't know. I'm tripping." So the next night, the covers came up and then off. Because I didn't think y'all just like dismissed it, and they came up and then off. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"That is not normal. That is not normal. That is not normal." And I was kind of more freaked out. And so I just stayed awake, and I got up, and I think I went probably like, hung out and watched TV for a minute because I couldn't go back to sleep because I was like, something's trying to get me. And I didn't know what it was. And then the next night it was in my ear. "Hey, Effer, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know what it is now. It's not just my imagination. It's my cousin." And I knew it was him after that, I guess, basically. But yeah, it was really weird at first. But that would be like the annoying, "Hey, I'm trying to get
Mhm.
your attention. Hey," and you dismiss it. But you probably are saying like you don't dismiss it completely. So
That's
you
like
get to the root of it or whatever.
you're like, hey, next time just start with the hey effer. don't don't do things that are gonna scare me to death. Because I don't know, the whole pulling sheets off and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that was
sounds
really
really
creepy
scary.
because the first thing you think is when people are like, "Oh, it's evil. Oh, it's malevolent. Oh, it's demonic." It's just
Oh,
because
for
it's
sure.
surprising. It catches you off guard. You're kind of
Yeah.
in shock, and it's fight or flight. So fight or flight is going to tell you, "Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's evil. Oh, it's demonic," because you're either going to fight or flight away from it. You know what I mean? But then it was like, no, it was just my cousin playing a prank on me, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, wow. I'm guessing that's a lot of energy. I don't really understand
Yeah.
how they use energy on the other side, because otherwise they'd be like throwing stuff all over the house, and that doesn't happen that often. It's fairly rare to have um, physical manifestations. I think I've
Yeah.
only had a few things like appear appear in places or disappear or something like that. But yeah, that stuff, I think it takes a lot of energy. So yeah, start out with the whisper in the ear, tap on the
Yeah.
shoulder.
It was kind of a
Mm,
whisper. It wasn't really loud, I don't think, and I feel like it
yeah.
wasn't loud also because nobody else woke up and heard it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've had that, and I mean, it sounds like it's right, like is this close to your ear, and
Yeah, like almost like your ear would have got wet because it was right that close, like someone was like little kids whisper to each other, like in a
hmm
classroom or something, sort of like that. Yeah.
yeah,
I have a question. You were saying like that's a lot of energy. Like I'm studying energy and I'm trying to like collect different, energy ideas because I'm wanting to write
uh-huh.
a book about energies and how to detect different energies and identify different energies and what a person's experience is. Do you feel like energy can be strengthened in a longer period of time if they've been passed away a long time, kind of like in the Ghost movie where it took them a while to figure out how to move stuff?
That's a good question. I feel like the longer somebody's over there, if they haven't like, okay, so I think there are ghosts that are like earthbound spirits. These are folks who haven't crossed over into heaven. And I think both can visit us, both can see us or connect with us. But I feel like, yeah, there are ghosts. And those are the ones that are probably doing a lot of that stuff with the energy that you're talking about. I feel like spirits that have passed over into or crossed over into heaven or moved up into whatever the next thing is. I feel like they don't have anything to they don't need to demonstrate anything. They don't have egos that they need to work with. And so, you know, they'll just go through normal channels to get our attention or whatever, right? They'll talk to spirit guides or they'll just try to connect with you that way. You know, your cousin or whatever, you know, I don't know what the circumstances were around that, but it just seems like somebody who hasn't, you know, hasn't moved over yet. That's just my experience with where I've seen spirits using physical energy like that, like poltergeists and things like that. It's more earthbound, right? And I think that we, in the physical, I think we've got a ton of energy. And I think that's one reason they're attracted to us, is because we've got all this energy. And I think it's like in our aura and in our chakras. I think that's the system I think I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so we've got this kind of energy, and I think they will a lot of times use that to help them communicate or help them work whatever physical thing it is. I'm guessing that EVP stuff and direct voice mediumship, I think that probably also draws on our own energy. Like I get crazy EVPs, like
Yeah.
tons of EVPs, and they're audible and everything. And, you know, I'm not talking spirit box stuff. I'm talking just recording on my digital recorder. So I think they're taking some of my energy to help them create voices or whatever. And so, you know, I don't know how much energy is available to them on the other side, or if like the longer they're hanging out over there, if that affects how much energy they have. It's really kind of unknown to me. I only know what I hear and what I experience myself.
Yeah.
So
It's just
yeah.
like some things that I want to kind of like go over. Like in the book that I'm working on, it's probably going to take me a long time before I actually write it, because there's so much stuff I want to know. Like if someone has a connection to you, does that strengthen their energy? Like if they were kin to you, like, you know, my cousin being able to do
Yeah.
that with me, is it because he knew me? Is it because, you know, like he held on to that energy for a while until, you know, he could display that or like, you know, communicate with me? Or is it because we had a connection? Because when we were both younger before he passed away, we were really close. Does that have anything to do with it? No, like just lots of questions about what kinds of
Was
energy.
was this your a recent passing? Is this
No, that was one of my
okay?
really close friends. But
Okay. Okay.
what's really weird is since my cousin passed away, I keep finding people that come into my life. I don't know how I manifest them, but they're almost like a duplicate of him. Is that not weird?
Yeah.
Like my cousin passed and this person came that recently passed away, and there was, even my daughter has said, like he looked like him, he acted like him, they had the same personality, like they could have been brothers. Like this person that just passed away, my cousin passed away quite a while ago, but they were almost like twins.
We
The
have
duplicate
we have so much going on over on the other side. Like they
of,
are so involved and we are so unaware of it. You know, I mean, I'm positive you've got folks like, okay, come on, go over here. You
hmm
need to, you got to go over here. You know, there's an opportunity, and they'll sway us and kind of push us in directions, and we'll
yeah,
get in somebody else's life. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's kind
yeah.
of neat to
I mean,
have.
they even had the same piercing. They wore the same kind of weirdo hat. It was weird, like how similar that they were, and like, and their spirituality was, you know, a lot alike. It was just kind of like, wow.
So
Do you
they
ever
must.
do you
Yeah,
ever have
sorry.
do you ever have a spirit contact you to help another spirit?
Ooh, no, I haven't. I haven't had that. I haven't had it happen quite like that. I know a lot of times when I do my when I do my videos, like when the cameras are recording, a bunch of spirits will show up, and I think it's just kind of the novelty of, you know, of doing, um, you know, me doing my thing. It's like, oh, there's a medium doing their, you know, he's doing, you know, he's opening up and he might talk to me, or he's talking to these other spirits and all this stuff. And I've got some angels that show up when I do my stuff. Like I don't know if they're my personal angel, my personal spirit guides, but the angels will show up, and I think they come in to help folks move up. And so I think it draws a bunch of folks, and there'll be talk between them at that time about like, okay, we're going to take you up when he's done filming, because like he likes to get it, he likes to record this stuff, and there's some stuff that's not supposed to be recorded. And so there's, that's as close as it gets to like one spirit trying to help the other spirit, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've had anybody who's like, oh, you got to talk to this. You got to talk to this person.
Hey, that girl over there is pretty cute. I know she's just a spirit, but hey, I am too. Can you give her my digits?
yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm expecting that to probably happen one of these days. Now that you suggested
I'm even
it.
like picturing someone in like a 50s or 60s outfit. That's funny.
When you open up, is it pretty chaotic, or is it everybody kind of takes their turn?
You know what? I do it wrong. I'm at various levels of being open all the time, pretty much. I'm more open than not open. Actually, I don't know, over the past 2 months or whatever, I've been a little bit more closed down than usual. But like, I'm pretty much open all the time. And I think it has to do with just me paying attention. Like, I'm zoning out, or I'm not noticing the all of the advertisements on the web page, all the time. So I'm just used to the content of my daily living. And if there's somebody there, they'll just start kind of trying to get my attention.
Pamela asked
Like, I'm not sure if somebody's doing that right now.
I feel like something's going on. I don't know if it's there where you're at, or if it's where he's at, or if it's with someone that's on here, but it's not here next to me. I feel something weird, and it keeps like being repetitive, like basically almost maybe like 5 or 10 minutes into when we started. And I'm not sure. I'm not like that good. That's why I'm studying identifying things or identifying,
Trust
like
it.
energies.
Trust it.
All I know is I feel stuff sometimes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna listen. Tell me what you want me to know, because I don't know what to expect. Please don't be bad. Please be good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've got somebody kind of talking to me. It feels more like a guide or something. And it's just kind of like, one thing I feel like the thing they're saying is like, we do need to work together. So like this isn't, I don't expect this to probably be the only time we're communicating. I'm sure it'll be good for us to connect in the future too. I feel like somebody is actually saying that, and it's kind of like somebody leaning in, like right here, like, okay,
well, I was going to ask you if you felt something a while ago, and I was like, I don't know if it's there, but I think I feel like it's there.
Yeah, I think it's just like having something going on all the time. Okay, so Pamela, yes, this has been happening my whole life. When I was a kid, like a little kid, one of the first things I remember was I was moving into a house. Like we had purchased a new house, and I think I'm probably about 6 years old or something like that. And this woman in spirit comes to me, and she's like trying to talk to me, and I can't hear her. I can see her. And like all of my focus, like my whole awareness is in some other world. Like basically, I don't know, it's shadow or something with this woman right here, right in front of me. And she's trying to get my attention, and she needs my help, and I don't know what to do. And I think she was in a car accident behind the house that I'm moving into. And it was just like my hearing was taken over, my sight was taken over. And I was completely overwhelmed, and just like, she realized that she was just she was just scaring me, because I couldn't do anything, and I could see her, but I couldn't understand, or I didn't know what to do for her. And so she left, and I cried or whatever. But it was like, yeah, a lot of my childhood was having weird experiences like that. and not really understanding what was happening. I think we lived in a severely haunted house when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure I
Sorry, you said
was
severely. It just sounds like a strange
okay.
word. Severely haunted when I was a kid. No, go
It
ahead.
was. I think severely is the accurate word. um, there were we had a ton of spirits there. It was like let's see, like super suburban house, stucco walls, all the houses look the same, very boring, like the pink stucco. And they were running prostitutes out of this house,
Oh
and
my
it was
goodness.
basically a whorehouse um, before my family purchased it. And so like after we bought it, all the neighbors came over and were like, thank God, thank you for coming over and buying this place. You have no idea. And so yeah, I mean, it was like weird energy to start with. And there were like just weird little quirky things in the house that we kind of figured out over living there and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the whole family would see spirits and stuff like that. And um, so that was helpful for me because it's not like, you're crazy. You're seeing, you and your fantasies or whatever. It was like, no, this is real, legit stuff's happening, and other people are seeing it too. But I think I was a main attraction there for a while. So
That's
Now,
good that other people saw it though.
yeah, that's definitely helpful.
you talked earlier about going to the Queen Mary and going there and like other. I'm sure you've been to other locations. Do you get hit pretty hard when you go in those places?
Yeah, those like the Queen Mary is really a trip. Um, it's had so many um, it's had so many different lives. Basically, it was used in the war. It was used, for it has all of these, I don't know, identities or something like that, and each one was full of people and full of life and people getting hurt and people dying and just living basically. And so like there's so much going on there. And I don't think that all the spirits are like, they died a horrible death on the Queen Mary and so they're still there or whatever. But I think the sheer magnitude of the stuff going on there and the spirits over there, I think it draws the attention of other spirits and other entities. And so
Yeah.
it's the party ship. If you're anywhere nearby, you can go over to the Queen Mary because there's stuff happening there. And I think that's kind of how a lot of haunted spots work. It's not necessarily, the little girl Sally that was, a victim of some crime or something. Um, you know, an investigator might go in and be like, is this Sally? And, there's somebody there going, yeah, I'll be your Sally. Like, yeah, sure, I'm Sally. And they
We had
know that,
interviewed somebody that had been on there before.
yeah. Yeah, but those places, I get a pretty big whammy with some of those spots. And some of it is just like I go in and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna just pay attention. And it's like, oh, yeah, there's a spirit right here. And like, oh, okay, it's a sailor. And I don't know this terminology they're using. And I don't know. It's just it's a
It
trip.
makes me excited. I want to go there now.
I think it's sinking. I think it's
I
like
know. I
they
saw something about it, but I didn't see that necessarily. I think I saw that it was like not being in use at the time.
yeah, it's a shame. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, like any haunted spot and even even places that aren't haunted, like not big deal haunted spots. You can go anywhere and you open up, you put out the intention that you want to talk to somebody, somebody's going to see you light up, oh, look, a spotlight. And so
Yeah.
they'll come over and check you out. And I think this is for people that don't think they're psychics or mediums either. I think you start to open up if you start looking into, start thinking hard about paranormal stuff or psychic stuff. I think that just thinking about it is enough to open you up and make you interesting to the other side.
Yeah. So when you go to those the haunted locations, are you able to, like, even if you don't say anything, kind of validate to the stories, the history they're talking about? Like, can you pick up on like what actually happened?
Yeah, a lot of times I do, and sometimes my story, what I'm picking up, does not match at all what the history of the location is. And if you delve into the history of the location a little bit further, it's like, oh, you know what? I actually think that I am I am correct, and the big story is wrong. Like right now, I'm editing the what is it, Mackay Mansion. It's called the Mackey Mansion, but I guess he was Irish, so it's a Mackay. It's the Mackay Mansion, and I was there with the tour guide, and I happened to show up when they were like nobody else was there. So I show up, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like you're going to be the last tour of the day, and what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, gold. I've hit gold here." And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a medium and I'm filming myself like at these locations. I'd love to just tour, like walk around with you and talk about what I'm picking up and see if, you can validate what kinds of things I'm getting. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just walking around and it's like, okay, I'm getting this weird thing, it's like, yeah, there's the little girl in white, and it's like, some of the details that I'll get are very validating. They're very specific things. I'll get names. With me, the other side does not want me using names, and so I have to bleep them out. But yeah, I'll get names of people. I'll get weird words. You've had that happen. So those things are pretty validating. So,
or initials. Sometimes I get like an initial, like the
yeah,
first letter R or something, or J or something.
Yeah, sometimes the names are difficult, and so it's like, it's like, it sounds like Jamal, and it's like, well, yeah, you kind of got that. So,
Yeah. What about like unsolved places? Like they're talking about like the Lizzie Borden house or something. If you were to go there, you think you'd pick up like the real, like maybe who the killer was or whatever?
I will pick up whatever I pick up. I just have to put the intention and listen. And a lot of times the information I get will be it'll be different than the mainline story. Or the mainstream story, mainline story. I don't know, making up things here.
Yeah, I think it's also like not only up to you what you get, it's also up to what they give you permission to get. Because I feel like a spirit can put a block up.
Oh, for sure.
If they don't want you to know something, they're not going to release it to you. But if you can coax it out of them, if you're good enough, then they might tell you what, they might give you an experience.
I'm afraid that's what's happening to me right now. I think for the past few months, they've kind of had blinders on for me.
Yeah.
And so when I work, they'll let me open up more, but they're kind of keeping blinders on me right now. And I think it has to do with, like, before COVID, I didn't know that COVID was happening, but every single reading I did for somebody, it was like, don't beat yourself up. You're going to go into survival mode. You need to not, don't be concerned with, not being at the place you want to be at this time in life. Let yourself off the hook, just chill, just relax, just get through this. And I didn't know what I was talking about. But I mean, I got really specific, and my guides had me picking up face masks for like like all of like the whole year. They had me picking up face masks. Like I'd go in the 99-cent store or whatever, and it'd be like, oh, let me, I'd pick up some, throw them in the cart, grab some hand sanitizer, throw it in the basket or whatever. And my wife is like, Yeah, you got some of that last time. We've got plenty of that. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna grab it, And so, I mean, they do that, but I think when it's something that is affecting us, or like this is part of our life experience, I think that's where, um, like, I think that's where they will limit us. Like, they aren't going to tell me, well, they aren't going to give me lottery numbers, because that's kind of
I
cheating,
don't
right?
know anybody they
That
give
gives
those
me,
to.
they, yeah, I mean, it's cheating. Like, that
Mhm.
lets me skip some of the things that I'm here to learn.
Yeah, that is
And
true. I see
I
that.
would totally be down with getting lottery numbers,
Mhm.
So, so
Which
yeah, I
is
mean, yeah, they definitely control what we're getting. Then I see Adams asking, how do you or what do you do to protect yourself before going into an investigation? Um, I used to do all sorts of stuff to try to protect myself, but when I put up barriers, when I put up shields and stuff like that, I basically shut everybody out. And so
Mhm.
I don't really do much protection. I've got a keychain that I carry all the time with me with my keys, and it has a bunch of different gemstones on it. And um, I work with fairies also, or fairies show up every once in a while. And yeah, that's another one of those.
I
Like,
love
are you
fairies.
serious? Fairies for real?
I love fairies. The first
And
tattoo
yeah,
I ever got was a fairy.
mhm,
I believe in
it's
them.
it's crazy, but yeah, I've had
Yeah.
enough validation that it's like, that's another real thing. Wow, what do you know? But they have started breaking my keychain. When something bad is coming in, they will break my keychain, and I'll reach in
Mm.
my pocket, and it's like, my keychain's broken. So what's this? So I don't really do much to protect myself. I think I get centered and I get grounded and try to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, if I start feeling this certain feeling, it's like, okay, that might be somebody that's hostile, that's going to be a problem. I've had like huge pieces of black tourmaline, and I mean, we're talking like softball size black tourmaline, and I've walked
Mhm.
into a place and it exploded in my hand. So
Yeah.
so there's something to gemstones. I don't know enough about them, but
Mhm.
like, that would be a good place to look at um, gemstones and how they can protect you. I know the black ones are mostly grounding and protective, and like quartz is just amplifies it. And so yeah, black tourmaline would
I
be
love
my
black tourmaline
go-to.
too. I can't keep it though. Everyone wants it. So like because I have like been in the business of giving away and selling and like, you know, gifting things like that, I just
Yeah.
can't keep that stuff. I have black
Yeah, I
onyx
have
right now and it's probably gonna run out when I tell anybody. I just told you, so I have black onyx. It's gonna be gone tomorrow.
I have a ton of pendulums.
Uh-huh.
I love to get these things. Like, I love gemstones. I love all of these
Me too.
things. Tarot decks, bring them on.
I know. I wish
I
I had
get
more.
them. I don't use them. Like, they just end up sitting there, and like, I'll mess with pendulums for a while, and then it's like, yeah, I just, it's so much easier to just tune in and pay attention. Um, so yeah, but yeah, tarot decks, that's another dangerous thing to get into. So,
Yeah, if you're not kind of
well, I'm just talking about money.
oh
Because you're
yeah.
gonna be
Well,
buying.
even for someone that's completely inexperienced, I feel like if they just buy Ouija boards and start playing with them, and they're like, "Hey, everybody, that's a spirit. I don't care. Whoops, I don't care where you're from. Just come on. My door's open." Or tarot cards.
Yeah.
I feel like they all could like progress to the same thing because I do tarot card readings a lot. Like I
Okay.
use tarot cards on a daily basis, and it's not even like if I'm doing a personal reading on somebody else, I'll just want to know something, and I will be open to receive the message and I'm not really hearing it. So I'll just, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of what I felt like, but I just wanted a little bit of validation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I'll just play with them on my own.
that's how I use them. Like they're mostly validation. It's like, okay, here's
Yeah.
the thing, here's the situation, all that. Pull out a card. Oh, and there it is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so this matches what I'm saying. So yeah, absolutely.
They're just a tool, another tool.
Yeah. You know, I saw, this was like a while ago, I saw Courtney say something about like making sure you're paying attention to dreams because the premonition kinds of dreams.
Yes.
Yeah, always, everybody, for everything, have that journal. Like, keep a journal, do dreams in it, and then also like put down anything weird, anything psychic. Don't don't worry about spelling, don't worry about neatness, no tearing out pages. Just write this stuff down so you have it somewhere, and then you can go back and you can be like, oh yeah, like my whole thing about, before COVID, all of my readings were about, this was the theme of all my readings. It's like, okay, like it's in my journal. I can look and I can be like, oh yeah, I started getting that information in October of, 2018 or something.
Yeah.
No, it was like 2019. But I started getting this information at that time. And it's like, oh, okay, I've been shut down since, or I've been kind of closed up since, this time this year. And that being closed up right now, that's kind of scary for me, because this feels like another one of these things. Oh, I get to live through something again. And it feels like it's a thing for everybody. So yeah, I think the other side might have the reins on a little bit for all of us, kind of limiting the information we can get right now, because I think something's on the horizon. Feels like, November, December.
Yeah. We've been talking about that.
Yeah. So
November, December, something end of 2021.
Yeah. So exciting. We it'll be exciting, right? Maybe not good, but it'll sure be something. So what was I going to ask? Oh yeah, premonitions. Do you get premonitions very often?
Actually, that's the biggest thing that probably happens to me. And even when I was a little kid, I never realized this is what was happening. But in the first grade, I got held back in first grade because they said I daydreamed too much. That was the reason they held me back and made me redo first grade all over again because I daydreamed too much. And I never understood that. I always thought that was the stupidest excuse. Yeah. And I would go back and think about that. But it would be me sitting in my desk and I was going out of my head, and it was like I was going somewhere else. And I was not completely attached to and anchored. Does that make sense? Like,
high five. High five, buddy.
I was just going into another experience, and I didn't have any clue. Like, maybe I would automatically feel like I was a boy. And I would be like, man, what's going on here? And I thought I was daydreaming because that's what they said. And I started to, like, over time, just in the last several years, really realize I didn't think I was daydreaming. I think I was having some kind of weird, like, either like a astral projection, or like I call it being like body jumped. Like when another spirit is telling you and showing you what happened to them. Because when I was a teenager, weirder stuff started happening. So I feel like to answer your question, I feel like kind of like that premonition thing is when I sit somewhere and people are like, why aren't you paying attention to me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, can you hang on? I'm having an experience here and it's important, because I wouldn't be having it if it wasn't. So someone other than you needs my attention, and it must be important because they probably put a lot of energy into this to tell me what they wanted me to know. And I'm like, so just hang on a second. I'm making a verbal contract to get right back to you as soon as I snap out of it. Just hang on. And I guess that would, to me, like be a premonition, because sometimes it will be I am seeing somebody that I've never met. Like we went to this place called the Fee House, and I had a dream and a premonition about the guy that owns it. His name is Drew, and he has a husband. Why did his name just pop out of my mind? Brad. He had a husband named Brad. I never met Brad, never saw Brad, never talked to Brad, never saw a photo of Brad. And I had a dream about Brad. And I had been talking to Drew. And so I called Drew and I said, "Hey, I had this weird dream. And I think that I was dreaming about your husband." And I saw a photo of him because he changed his profile photo after the dream. And I was like, "I think I was having a dream about him." And he's like, "That is so weird because my husband told me that there was a cancer that was going to come into our lives soon. And I'm a cancer." And I was like, "No way. That's crazy." And I said, that's just strange. And it was really neat that, and coincidental, I guess. And me and him have been kind of connected and close since then. But that's the kind of premonitions I have, and now I'm going on a tangent about it, or dreams, and my dreams will come true a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. How about you, Jason? Are you psychic? Do you have any of this weird stuff happen?
No.
He does have weird stuff happening, though.
Are you just not admitting it? Is that?
No, I don't think I have any kind of abilities or anything like that. But I feel like when we go places together and go on investigations, that I get more like physical stuff happen to me rather than anything psychic or anything like that.
I feel like you are really grounding. Like you're grounding the energy for the group. You're like actually attached kind of like to the grounds. So as other people are getting flighty, as other people are getting kind of spacey and floaty, you're actually able to kind of like connect the circuit with them to ground. So have you guys noticed, like, I don't know, do you guys go on investigations together and stuff? I mean,
yeah, and it's definitely weird. Like when we're together, stuff will happen that doesn't happen to me normally. Not the same kind of stuff. Like all day, every day, I might be, like getting some kind of communication or whatever. But like when we actually go places together, or even when we're on here together, just doing this show, physical manifestation will happen. Stuff starts moving and stuff when we're together.
Yeah, that's something I would suggest really pay attention to when Jason is there, or even if he is like at the location in a different place. Pay attention to what's happening with the people that consider themselves more psychic or more of a medium, because I think you allow the mediums and the psychics to like have a more complete circuit, just your being right there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really talk about like, hey, I'm a psychic or I'm a medium, because I feel like the more that I've tried to put myself out there, the more I've gotten attacked spiritually, psychically, witchcraftly. I don't know if that's a word, but like I've gotten attacked every time I've tried to like tread forward. I get some kind of attack happening to me, and I don't like it. So I like totally resonate with you saying about like not completely having boundaries, because I've had to work really hard to try to figure out any kind of boundaries to shield myself from that stuff happening. But
and you know what, trust your feelings here with like don't talk about it, don't share with people. I mean, trust what you're getting and what you're feeling with it, because there are going to be people where you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to just talk to them and tell them yeah, I'm open. And there are other people where it's like, yeah, I'm not even going to be like, yeah, I was watching some ghost show on TV, because they're going to be like, you're evil, or there's something wrong with you, whatever.
And I grew up in a society that way, that it's a very small town, and you don't talk about that kind of stuff at all. So I didn't even like really ever experience, like Jason has a different background than me. Like his mom was like, man, if you're having this experience, I embrace it for you, and I'm going to love on you and tell you it's good. And I was like, my mom was like, shh, don't tell anybody, because you're going to get put away. You're going to be told you're crazy. Shh, don't talk about it. and I still live in that same town, even though I've went different places and moved. I've gravitated back to the same area, and it's still, I guess, in my DNA to not be
Uh-huh.
like, hey, I'm doing this stuff. And I really just mostly share it with spirits or like things that I can't see more than humans.
Yeah, you've got plenty of friends on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's people you know and people you don't know. So, yeah, you've got folks around. And you know what? You're probably going to run into people who are going to bring it up to you anyway. Like the world
Yeah.
has changed so much, just with being able to talk about this stuff. I mean, all of the ghost shows on TV, all of that stuff, it's really made it so people are more willing to talk about it, more willing to do
Yeah.
it. So,
And it's a little bit more acceptable than it was when I was in high school.
oh, for
I was
sure.
like, no way. There was no way. Like, yeah, no way. I felt like I was literally the only weirdo in my school.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I understand that one.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets crazy. It's like I'm more like I said, I'm more like I get more like the physical stuff with me, throwing stuff thrown at me, or my clothes tugged on or whatever. But I don't have any kind of spiritual attacks or spiritual like anything like that like she does. But
He
Is
does
there
see stuff sometimes that I don't see though, so you might actually be like considering that to be like
I think that
a heightened, awareness, like
it's like
seeing stuff that I don't.
clairvoyance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing things, you're seeing things. And if folks are pulling on your sleeve, I would say you've got something
I
going
don't
on.
know about
You're
that, but I was there. They're throwing something at him that's even more than just pulling on your sleeve. They're like, "Hey, you don't see me, you don't hear me. I'm going to get your attention. I don't care
yeah.
what I
Or
have
you
to
need to
do."
stop doing whatever it is you're doing, Jason.
maybe.
Knock it
I
off,
don't
Jason.
know.
Or he needs to douse himself with some sage perfume or
Yeah,
cologne. I don't know, maybe sage
I think
cologne.
yeah, huh. You have to pay attention to like what's happening with everybody else, like pay attention to where everybody else is when you
Hmm.
get stuff thrown at you. And it's not because I'm saying other people are throwing stuff at you, but just with my thinking of you as being like so integral as a grounding person, like as doing that for people. I mean, I don't know. It might be, I don't know. You might discover something interesting with that.
Yeah.
It's an energy thing there for you.
I have felt like
Energy
it's
thing to work
because
with.
of something being threatened by him at one location. Like there's supposed to be some kind of like not mentally stable male entity or spirit there.
Uh-huh.
And supposedly the girl that owned the place said that that was probably what threw the stuff at him. And I did debunk any possibility that anyone could have thrown it at him. I was like, there's no ceiling
Yeah.
openings, there's no one behind him. Because I will totally go in detective mode. I'm like,
Yeah.
is there anybody around? Because I'm calling BS if there's anything, any shenanigans going on. And there was nothing, period, at all that could have
Yeah.
explained the big, huge piece of glass chunking at him, other than something unexplainable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think at a certain point, it's like when you go into a location or you go somewhere where you're going to be paying attention to this stuff, you become so aware of everything. These doors are closed. There's no access in this area. There was possible noise contamination coming from over here.
yeah,
I mean, we just start to be able to do that. And then when things happen, it's just kind of like, yeah, okay. Something got thrown. I mean,
Yep.
just what a weird world we live in. Weird
Right.
and wonderful.
Sure.
yeah, it would be cool to be able to go back and because we do usually log down stuff, so we could actually, if we ever want to go back and be like, why did this happen? Or if we go
Hmm.
back to that same place, does it happen again? Or if there's a new owner, did the energy change? Did they not get
Oh,
anything thrown at him and something else happened? I don't know. But
yeah, I
yeah,
can totally see the new owner or reconstruction or remodel kind of things, that will very much change what's going on at a location. So
Got hair in
yeah.
my mouth.
I think
But,
everybody, what you were talking about earlier, I think everybody kind of feels like there's something coming, like you were talking about in November, December, but don't know what, but I think everybody feels that.
I think early on I was trying to find out. I had a bunch of people asking me about what was going on with COVID and all of this stuff and what's happening. And it's like, okay, there's going to be a series. What I got back then was there's going to be a series of events. They're going to be, you know, we're going to have one thing happen and we're going to get used to it and we're going to be able to cope with it. And then we're going to be hit with something else that's going to knock us on our butts. And we're going to figure it out and we're going to figure out how to operate. And then something else is going to happen. And I feel like that is happening. I feel like there are things that are happening and it's like, we're getting whammied every once in a while. And, but you know, I kind of thought they would be in more of a succession. And I feel like,
like today when Facebook went down, I was like, shut everything down. Shut it all down. Not just Facebook. Let's go. If you're going to go big. Not just Instagram and Facebook. Let's shut it all down. I was just making a joke.
Do a do-over. Exactly.
I went on, after that happened, I went on Twitter today, and man, Twitter was pretty busy today because everybody
I bet YouTube too.
Yeah.
And TikTok. I bet.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's aliens going to land on the White House lawn finally. Maybe that's going to happen.
I was actually wishing that what it was, but after I read a little bit more about it, I was like, no, I think Facebook did it intentionally, but they might have I didn't know they would turn it back on this quickly. I thought it would be a little bit longer that they'd leave it off, but I was like, I don't know. I know kind of what I think why they're doing it. Because I just sit back and kind of like observe things and read different things, and then I put them together, and they're usually pretty close. But I didn't think it would be back up that quickly. I thought it would be at least a day or two. But no, they didn't want to stay going that long. I guess they were like,
yeah, I don't know. The whole like aliens landing on the White House lawn, I don't think anything would change. I think there would be zero effect on people because we've had the military come out and, you know, the Pentagon comes out and shows us the Tic Tac video of UFOs being filmed that are they're able to maneuver like things that we can't do. I mean, UFOs can move in ways that would squish a human being. We can't handle the G's.
Yeah.
We can't do those kind of things and we can't just vanish and stuff like that. And so it's like, yeah, that stuff has been coming out for, you know, we've had different videos coming out from an authority that we're supposed to be able to trust. And I mean, it is the military. It's not even, you know, the government. This is more the military. So it's a little bit more trustworthy, you know, to even, you know, and I'm not picking sides or anything. It's just like, you know, I don't want to go political or anything. And I feel like everybody's
I feel like it's better if you don't pick a
nuts.
side though, because then you're focusing your intent, you're like everything is going in one direction. And that's probably what would get you in the end is focusing on one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're going from you're blindsided from whatever.
And it's all going in the same direction anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably all the same entities running the show. So, going back to the UFO stuff, it's like it's come out and it's reputable information, and all the UFO people, and like me included, are all like, yeah, I know. What?
They've been here a long time. That's what I say. I'm like, dude, they've been here forever.
That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are like, wow, that's pretty wild. And they don't follow through. That's as far as they go with it.
Yeah.
And then there are a bunch of people that are like, what do you think about that? And then they're just like,
or
I'm going to go to
like,
McDonald's.
nah, that's not real. That's fake. You got those
Yeah,
people
so
too.
I don't think it's going to matter. I think they could land on the White House lawn and it'd be like, yeah, that's weird. Actually, and there's something else to that that I just thought of. Um, People see UFOs and stuff, and I've seen a UFO, or I've seen multiple UFOs. Like it's not a like every time I see spirits, it's not like it's like I don't know, every few years I might see something that's like really, really bizarre. But um, my wife and I watched some weird stuff happening in the sky, and then we watched something that I called it. It was like a black helicopter fly over the house, and she saw something that was not a black helicopter. And this was after watching all these white dots like hovering in the really high in the sky and all this stuff. Um, and then they all went off in different directions. So it's like, yeah, those weren't balloons. It wasn't, you know, whatever. But yeah, so I see this black helicopter go over, but it's also a little bit like predator camouflage. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
that going on too. And so I've started paying attention to that. And there are a lot of reports of people seeing beings and people seeing UFOs and seeing all sorts of things with that same predator movie camouflage. And my brother saw a disc once, like it was actually over a military base down in San Diego, but he sees this, he sees a UFO, a disc, you know, and it's hovering and moving across, and he's with a bunch of people on this boat, and he's like, "Oh my God, like look at that!" And people are like, "Wow!" And then it's over, it disappears or blinks out. And he's like, "What was that? That was nuts." And everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" Like mind wipe.
Oh
Like Men
wow.
in Black put the thing out and like you didn't see
Yeah.
anything. And I've noticed that with a lot of paranormal stuff, a lot of UFO stuff, even Bigfoot kinds of experiences. Um, where people will have the experience or even get evidence or footage of something and it will be gone. Like the
Yes.
memory is wiped. Like
Yeah.
there are pilots and stuff that are talking about that. Like we'll see a report and they're like, wait a second, I was there. I saw that. And they're like, why don't we remember that? And suddenly it comes back to them. And I've recorded audio like EVPs and stuff that has, you know, I played it for my wife, and then a little while later I play it again and it's saying something different or it's totally
Well,
gone.
my daughter said
And
something about this one day. I'm looking up what she called it. I'm not sure. Go ahead. You
yeah.
can.
Yeah, and I've seen I've done that with video. Things have been on video and then they're gone. And also in photos. Like I was following one of my buddies on a motorcycle ride and I was behind him. So I was just like clicking away with my camera, taking pictures just because it's cool to have pictures of, you know, out riding your bike or whatever.
Yeah.
And I look on my camera and I'm looking at it and playing it back. And it's like, there's a little disc in all of these pictures, in like 7 or 8 pictures or something like that. And I'm watching it, it's moving across the sky and I'm zooming in and it's like, wow, yeah, it's like a little disc. And so I'm like, you got to see this. This is nuts. I go to play it back and it's just blue sky in all of those photos. It's gone. It's just like that part of the photo has been adjusted.
This is what I kind of thought. That way he's saying, like, the people that we were talking about, like, there's this kind of person and this person, this person are the ones that they'd have to do that with. I feel like they'd have to slowly, like, subcept you to this.
Oh,
to
yeah.
see how to not create a mass hysteria, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there's that. And then there's also, like I've thought about this with, you take some of the psychics that are the psychics that'll go, what's her name? Caputo.
Yeah, Teresa.
Teresa. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll go into a supermarket or whatever, and she gets a spirit and goes up and talks to somebody and says, "Hey, you know, I've got somebody that would like to speak with you. I'm a psychic. And they're like, oh, okay. And so then she tells them. And I have thought about that, and I've had spirits wanting me to talk to people in places just out in public or whatever. And it's like, I won't do it.
I know.
There
I'm
has to
afraid
be a
to.
real need for it, because I feel like when we do this stuff, when we're doing our mediumship, or when we're bringing this stuff to a person, it can really blow their mind and like derail them from whatever they're supposed to be doing here, like in their life, so that whole idea of like, yeah, certain people are able to see the UFOs and some people aren't. It might be the same kind of idea that's going on. Like some people are really, like, some people, it's okay, it's not going to change their paradigm too much. That's you guys, you see something like that, it's going to be like, wow, that's crazy, that's awesome.
I'm going to be like,
and
Jason, let's go check it out. And he likes to take photos with everybody. So he'd be like, hey, let's take pictures with aliens. And I'd be like, I want to interview the aliens and I want to ask them questions. How do I do that? Because I can't speak alien.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, then there are us and probably all of your viewers who are like, bring it, I want to see it. And then there are the people that are like, if they see something like that, they are not going to be able to function anymore. They can't, they can't go to work, and they can't, that's where they're going to meet their spouse. And, they're going to miss some waypoints and totally derail. So,
not only that, I think that like we already sort of destruct our own selves. And I can't really imagine if put in that state, what kind of quick destruction humanity would do to itself. Like that's where my mind kind of goes. Like I would hope that wouldn't be the case, but I really don't see any like way that it wouldn't be, because we already destruct ourselves anyways. Because I don't know. I guess that's just our nature.
I think from what I've read, and also pop culture and everything, there's some organization out there, and I can't remember whether, where the pop culture and the real documents, where they meet, where the cutoff is. But, there's some entity out there, there's some organization that is like deciding, there's going to be all this instability, and religion's going to fail, and, capitalism, whatever, everything is going to fail if we have UFOs, if we tell people that UFOs are real. That's one of the arguments of like, oh, the government's keeping it a secret. So I don't know. I
don't feel like it's only being kept a secret by the government, though. I think that there is a level of that, but I think also if they wanted to show themselves to every single human being, then they would do it all the time. They would be sitting like at our house, chilling on the couch all day long, and they would just willingly, completely reveal themselves. So there's a reason that they don't do that, I feel like, because they also are intelligent enough to know how we would receive them or respond to them.
I think that's absolutely right. That's what I've been saying.
Enough to know, I think, yeah.
That's what I've been saying about disclosure. It's like, yeah, we're pretending like we're calling the shots. It's like, no, dude, there's somebody else that is like fully capable, who's like, no, not time yet.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm going to just chill on the couch right here. And
yeah. And they may actually have a higher lesson and a higher like intelligence and knowledge and, insight of that would happen if they came here. Like they might already know that. Like they may be psychic. That might be why more psychics are coming out. More people are getting elevated. More people are getting enlightened. More people are connecting, spiritually. Like maybe they're moving closer and we're moving closer in our minds to see where we can get to a point to where it's going to be an easy transition to accept stuff like that. I don't know.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I think we're over our time now.
Yeah, we are. It's usually over at 9:30, but he had asked you about the UFOs, and he really likes to talk about that. So I didn't want to interrupt the good stuff,
Yeah, of course. We need to talk UFOs.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
this
you
is
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Yeah.
want to tell everybody where to find you and all that stuff again?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You want to tell everybody where they can find you at and everything?
Oh, go look me up on YouTube, Haunted Medium, and my name's Brett Carstens. So go check me out. You can find me on Twitter. I've got a web page that'll direct you to all of this stuff. It's brettcarstens.com, BRETTCARSTENS. So like cars tens. And it's Brett with 2 T's.com.
Awesome.
So
And
that's
thank
it.
you everybody who participated and everybody who was watching.
Yes,
I always
for
have to
sure.
tell everybody thank
you.
you because obviously without them we'd just be talking to each other. So thank you everybody for watching, participating, asking questions, and share this if you feel inclined to, and we will share this also so other people can hear what we talked about.
Right.
All right.
Everybody have
thank
a good
you.
night. You're welcome.